When you hear Google AI, what is the first thing that pops into your head? Maybe you haven't even heard of it. Well, whatever it is that popped into your head, what if I told you that that's just scratching the surface? Today, we're going to peel back the layers and uncover a whole suite of powerful, free AI tools that are basically hiding in plain sight. So, be honest, do you think Google's AI is just another chatbot like, say, ChatGPT? Look, a lot of people do, and that makes total sense. I did not know what Google AI was all about. It's what gets all the headlines, this chatbot version of the AI. But it turns out that is just the tiniest tip of a massive iceberg. The really exciting stuff, the game-changing stuff, is everything that's happening just below the surface. And we're not just talking a random collection of features here. This is a connected ecosystem of incredibly powerful tools. They all work together and, get this, they are all completely free to use right now. So consider this episode your treasure map. And thank you for giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, join our little community over here. We have lots of fun. So I'm going to show you exactly where to find these tools and, more importantly, how they can totally change the way you work, the way you learn, and the way you create in science. All right, so first up, let's talk about tools designed to make you, well, smarter, faster. This is all about supercharging your knowledge and turning research from a chore into something you actually want to do. So meet NotebookLM. I've done a whole video just on this because when I found it, it was exactly the learning tool I needed. And I want you to just forget everything you think you know about note-taking apps. This is something entirely different. It's your own personal AI research assistant that doesn't just store your information, it actually understands it. And check out how simple this is. You just feed it your sources. So your sources could be PDFs, YouTube links, websites, webinars, literally anything. The AI then builds this private little brain that only uses your information that you've given it. Which means you can ask questions about the materials you've just uploaded. And here is the magic part, the one that blows me away. Because it truly gets the content, it can instantly remix it into brand new formats for you. You can take a dense 50-page research-focused thesis, for instance, or master's work, and NotebookLM can generate a 2-minute summary of it for you that doesn't miss a thing. It will pull out the key points and script and narrative. Or you can take messy research notes that you've taken from conferences, from webinars, and have it create a clean conversational style podcast you can listen to, all for free. And this idea is changing how we interact with Google itself. Because, the old way, you get a list of links on topics, and then the real work would begin. You would have to now start and understand everything. So the new way with AI mode, you just get a direct, synthesized answer to your question, all laid out with its sources. It's the difference between being handed a library card and being handed the exact paragraph you were looking for. So this is a tool in Google search that you can take advantage of. So next, you can now become a creator. So I mentioned that this channel was my attempt to make sure I was understanding things that I had to know for my medical research career. And so I had to, learn how to edit. I had to find voice recording apps so that I could really interact with the stuff I was learning. Well, now with Google AI Studio, we can all do that much more efficiently. So you've mastered your information, you've become an expert. What's next? Well, now it's time to create something with it. So let's dive into the tools that turn you into a digital creator using nothing more than simple text. And the first place we can start is with images. So imagine being able to do complex photo editing, not with confusing sliders and layers, but just by describing what you want to see. I was introduced to Adobe Photoshop, and I found it so confusing because it just takes so much time to master it. I never had the time to dive into it. But now with Google AI suite of tools, you can actually do photo editing. So if you have images that you need to use for your conference to present your research, you can actually use this AI called Nano Banana. I'm sure you've all heard about it now. So this one will actually be able to edit photos for you. No need to go and use Photoshop. Of course, you have to maintain the scientific integrity, but we're talking about when you want to merge things, bring things together, and tell a story. So what's cool with this Nano Banana is that you didn't have to use any super complicated layers and canvases or prompts to do it. It's a simple conversation that you have. It's not about learning to code. It's about learning how to ask. All right, still images are cool, but let's get things moving. It's time to meet Veo, which is Google's model for creating high quality video clips from just a text description or even a single image. In medical research, we're always being encouraged to get on social media and tell the stories that we are discovering in the laboratory. So here you can make fun clips for social media. And if you're so advanced as to even have your own website, then you can quickly prompt and be able to use these images, moving images on your own website. It takes minutes. And this whole creator toolkit isn't just limited to what you can see. You can also generate incredibly realistic audio. Say you don't want to use your own voice. You imagine typing out a script and creating a podcast dialogue with two totally distinct speakers, or you can pick one. It gives you the option of selecting what kind of speaker you want. Or you can even get a professional voiceover for a presentation. So a crucial part of this AI studio is the option to build your own AI. Oh my goodness. So this is a no-code app building opportunity. So that brings us to our final section here. And honestly, this might be the most mind-blowing one of all. We've gone from consuming information to creating our own. Now let's build the actual tools themselves. Now, seriously, just pause for a second and think about it. What if you had an idea for an app, a custom tool that would make your life easier, and you just build it right now without being a developer? So I know Excel does this, and a lot of people are also using R, for instance, but say you had some data, and typically what you want to do with your data is analyze it. You want the average, but maybe you also want the 5 statistical summaries to describe the data for you. You could just build a little app where as soon as you put in your data, the app executes these steps. So it finds the average, it looks at your minimum, it looks at your maximum, it looks at the interquartile range for you. And there's a video that I've done on basically finding the story in your data that you can take a look at, but you can build anything that you have to do repetitively. You can just tell the app to do it, and so you just input what you want and it spills out an output that you've told it to give you each and every time. So Google gives you 2 main ways to do this, and no code is exactly what it sounds like. On the left, you have Opal. You think of this as your quick and easy option. You just describe your idea and it builds a workflow for you. It's perfect for getting prototypes done fast. For bigger, more ambitious projects, you've got AI Studio on the right. So the build option in AI Studio is for when you're building something more robust, something you might want to scale up or even sell one day. So what's really cool with these AI tools that Google gives you is that you can actually pick the mind, if you like, the mastermind that you want it to use. So it's got different versions and they have different capacities. If you're asking a really simple question, like say you're in the Gemini chat area and you're asking a simple question like what is photosynthesis or what is PCR, then you don't need heavy processing like these are. It doesn't have to think. So you can choose a model, a basic model that's also faster. But if you're doing things where you have to think a bit like the data analysis side, then you need to choose a model that has that capacity. So in the build section, for instance, it's really amazing to see the variety of things people are building. These aren't just theories. These are real apps that get created in minutes. You can see some that are like a custom meal planner that works with your specific dietary needs. So let's say you don't eat onions, for instance. You can just put in what you've got and ask it to suggest a meal for you. Some people are building interactive games. So here you can build a quiz, and we've all used apps like Kahoots and stuff to do quizzes. You have the option of building your own. So you can even do serious business tools that can generate social media posts or audit your website's search engine optimization. It seems like the only limit is really what you can dream up. In building your app, you can actually just go to Gemini or even ChatGPT and tell that tool what you want, that chatbot, what you want to create, and ask it to guide you as to what you should use in the Google AI's build app in order to create the app that you want. So we can go over to Gemini and say, hey, I want to build an app that takes my data set and gives me the average, and then gives me the 5-number summary, gives me the min, the max, gives me the 25th percentile, the 75th percentile. How should I do this? How should I prompt it? So I went to Gemini and used the latest model, Gemini 3 Pro Preview, on my system. I noticed that I was missing some functionalities actually. So it wasn't able to generate the SOP based on my screen recording. I think it hasn't been enabled for my access. But anyway, so Gemini 3 Pro was my latest. The Flash model was there, which is a lightweight version that doesn't think quite as deeply. But for giving me a prompt for the app, I figured I better use the deeper thinker, so the Gemini Pro. And this is the prompt it gave me. So once I do it, it says to give you the best prompt, I need to know how you want to build this app. I've never built an app before, so do you want a web app, a mobile app, or something that runs in your browser without installing anything? And my go-to would be something that runs in my browser without installing anything, because I'm trying to get this done with the least amount of pain. So it's telling me here are the 3 best prompts to use depending on your needs. Option 1, the data science way, Python and Streamlit. So it's best for a professional looking web app that is easy to run locally. And this is the standard for data tools. So if I want that option, that it gives me a prompt for that. But then option 2, the no install way, which is HTML and JavaScript. So this is best for something you can run immediately in your browser. You can save the code as an HTML file and email it to anyone. And that's what I would be leaning towards. And so it gives me the prompt for that. And then lastly, option 3 is the mobile app way. And this one is best if you are actually trying to publish this to the App Store or Play Store. So it gives you the prompt to create that. How cool is that? But let's copy it and see if it actually builds it for us. So it seems to have finished the app to create your 5-number summary and as well as the average. So it says enter your numbers separated by commas, spaces, or new lines. So we can go ahead and put it and then calculate the stats and see. So we can use the values in the video on finding the story in your data. So it's, let's say 46, 69, 32, 60, 52, and 41. Other values, and we're going to need it to give us the average and the 5-number summary for these values. I'm actually blown away right now. I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I just created an app that just did all these calculations in seconds, and I particularly love the visualization because if I had to create this in Excel, there'll be a lot of fumbling around to do it. So there you go. Run ahead and do your own app right now. So as I start to wrap up, it's really important not to see these as just a bunch of separate gadgets. I think a good way to look at it is that you can pull it all together and look at the powerful personal AI toolkit you now have at your fingertips. So here it is, the whole treasure chest laid out. You start at that first column, supercharging your knowledge with something like NotebookLM and AI in search. That's your foundation. Then once you have that insight, you move to the middle column and become a creator using tools like Nano Banana and Veo to bring your ideas to life. And finally, you can move to that third column and build your own AI using Opal or Google AI Studio's Build to solve your unique problems. It's a complete journey from insight to expression to invention. So I'm really curious as to what ideas you are now going to come up with. Please comment and let me know what you want to create yourself or what you want to build using the apps I've just introduced you to. And I'll see you in the next video where we're going to use Gemini's capacity to really understand screen recordings and spit out a standard operating procedure of what you just showed it so that you can now have something written down that talks through something you were doing on your computer. I'll see you in that video, or you can check out other videos on my page. See you then. God bless.
Be strong.